Hey everyone, it's James of geometriccharts.com. June 11th, about 5:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the daily chart of Bitcoin on the Bitfinex exchange, BTC USD. Again, basically going off of the Thursday video. I still, Bitcoin is still in this chopping action at this level. I think best case scenario, maybe Bitcoin tries to reclaim this top up here, but I expect it to end in failure, especially since a majority of the volume has been siphoned out, and the same repetitive things I've seen back in this past here, where we've had this essentially wave action in the volume, where you get this wave in like an inflow and then you get an outflow literally the next day. Inflow, outflow, inflow, outflow. The same thing is happening at this level, while a lot of these coins are extremely vertical. They've not had in any way, shape, or form a corrective move at all. And the assets, for Bitcoin, for an example, has gone from like 3,200, 3,300 all the way up to 9,100. I mean, almost a 300% move in the asset with no corrective move whatsoever. Well, the only thing in history where we've had no corrective move whatsoever in Bitcoin has ended in complete and utter failure, even during the bubble phase. Now, I feel like a lot of people are expecting this to happen again, where you get this crazy meteoric rise and it just keeps going up and up and up and up. Well, one thing that history has shown is that any bubble takes a while to recapture that energy, to rebuild that market. And I've never seen two bubbles back to back ever in history. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but I definitely think these statistics are proving otherwise in a market. And this was definitely a bubble top. I mean, when people start taking second mortgages out to buy something, that's the insanity you see in a bubble. Like, that's not a normal circumstance. It's not a normal market. No one takes a second mortgage out on their home to invest it in the stock market, unless you're just a Looney Tune from the get-go. But, and it obviously takes a very special person to do that. But the point is that when national media is going crazy about it and everyone's going crazy, again, those are all the signs of a bubble. It's what happens psychologically. It's not what happens to the price action there. But so I still think we're going to see a deeper dive in Bitcoin, regardless if we pump back up to 91, 9,200 in Bitfinex, on Binance, Coinbase, etc. I still believe there's going to be a deeper corrective move. And the longer this market tries to hold it off, the worse that corrective move is going to become. The same way something like this happened, something like this happened, something like this happened. Again, Bitcoin has a repetitive history of these price actions. The biggest thing as well too is we are under declining momentum. It's become exacerbated as we've made this move, and Bitcoin is trying to push higher, while the majority of that volume that's coming in during these pumps is also being siphoned out, and then within a 24-hour time frame. So Bitcoin has quite an uphill battle to fight to get above. I know some of the other alts are kind of popping like here and there, like Litecoin, for example. But the same thing, it's the same scenario even with Litecoin. So a lot of these coins are literally on the same identical path at the moment. And again, I firmly believe there's going to be a deeper corrective move in this market. But obviously the chop is not going to let up until it does. And when it does, I imagine we're going to see probably like 1,000-point dive all at once or so, and that'll probably start to kick things off the same way the market collapsed out here, and it's trying to be saved, but the only thing it's doing is essentially creating like a little mini bear flag that may end in a spike upward in order to head fake traders, and then immediately right back down. So I think that's the best case scenario for Bitcoin at this level. I think the worst case is just a continuation to the downside, which again, I firmly believe we're going to see the sixes in Bitcoin, and we're going to get under that 7,000 mark, and it's going to create a lot of panic. But at the same time, when we rotate that sentiment from bullish to bearish, that is what fuels these next legs up is that flip in momentum, that flip in investor psychology, going from bullish to bearish and then back to bullish again. That's what creates the fuel for this. So again, at the end of the day, it's energy. And energy expended has to be recaptured. It's recaptured through horizontal price movement. It's recaptured during corrective moves. And in this market, it's historically proven that those corrective moves are pretty violent drops. So again, I do think we're the clock is ticking. Bitcoin in the market's trying to prolong it as much as it can, but there's just not enough people at this level willing to participate, especially after you watch this kind of crazy move happen. Again, entering into a market at this level with this much volatility, the same thing in the volume, declining momentum, etc., it is not the best thing to do. So anyways, that's pretty much it. I'll talk to everybody on Thursday, just kind of a piggybacking off of last Thursday's video. I figured we would have got a little more action by now, but it's been a slow and grinding process for the past week here with Bitcoin, and I don't imagine it to let up, but I do believe when it does, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be violent. It's going to catch a lot of people off guard. It may have to start with a spike up in order to head fake traders, but that drop, when it does come, I firmly believe it's going to be nasty and it's going to freak a lot of people out.